In 1849, a young carpenter sold nearly everything he owned and traveled to California with a simple plan. He was going to find gold and become rich. The newspapers made it sound possible. Friends talked about fortunes waiting in rivers. Travelers returned with stories of nuggets lying in plain sight. Like thousands of others, he believed opportunity was calling his name. But when he finally arrived, he discovered something nobody had mentioned. The greatest challenge was not finding gold. It was competing with everyone else who wanted it. The California gold rush is often remembered as one of history's greatest opportunities for wealth. Images of lucky miners discovering fortunes have become part of popular culture. Yet the reality experienced by most people was very different. For every famous success story, countless others spent months struggling to earn enough money to survive, and the people who built the largest fortunes were often not the people digging for gold at all. To understand why, we need to look at the world before the rush began. In the late 1840s, California was still a distant frontier. Small communities were separated by vast stretches of wilderness. Most Americans lived far to the east and knew little about the region. For many people, California was simply a place on a map. Few could have imagined that it would soon become the destination of one of the largest migrations in American history. Everything began near a sawmill under construction. Workers noticed small pieces of yellow metal in a stream. At first, the discovery seemed important only to a handful of people. But valuable news rarely remains secret for long. Word spread beyond the worksite, then beyond the local community, then beyond California itself. Soon, newspapers across the country were reporting the discovery. Those reports created a powerful idea in the minds of readers. What if ordinary people could become wealthy simply by traveling west? That question changed countless lives. Farmers left their fields before harvest season. Shopkeepers closed businesses. Laborers abandoned jobs. Sailors deserted ships. Families debated whether they should risk everything for a chance at a better future. The possibility of sudden wealth was difficult to ignore. People who had never considered moving suddenly found themselves planning journeys across oceans, deserts, and mountains. What happened next was extraordinary. California became a magnet for ambition. Ships arrived carrying passengers from around the world. Roads filled with wagons heading west. Camps appeared near rivers and streams. Every newcomer hoped to be among the lucky few who struck it rich. The atmosphere was filled with optimism. Many believed they were arriving at the beginning of an endless opportunity, but opportunities rarely remain easy for long. The first miners often enjoyed advantages that later arrivals did not. Some found gold near the surface using simple tools. A few collected impressive amounts in relatively short periods of time. Stories of those successes spread rapidly and encouraged even more people to come. Yet every new arrival increased competition. Areas that once seemed abundant became crowded. Claims were established, rivers became busy, the easiest deposits became harder to access. The consequences appeared quickly. Miners who arrived later discovered that finding gold required more effort than they expected. Some spent weeks searching for productive locations. Others invested precious savings into equipment without seeing meaningful results. Days of hard work sometimes produced only small rewards. The dream remained alive, but reality was becoming more complicated. And then another opportunity emerged. Thousands of miners needed supplies. They needed food, tools, clothing, transportation, housing, and countless other necessities. A growing population was willing to pay high prices because alternatives were limited. Some people recognized this demand and changed their plans. Instead of searching for gold, they started serving the people who were. This decision proved remarkably important. A miner's success depended on finding something valuable. A merchant's success depended on selling something valuable. One outcome relied heavily on luck. The other relied on meeting demand. Every day miners needed meals. Every day equipment wore out. Every day new arrivals required supplies. Businesses benefited from a constant stream of customers. As a result, some merchants built fortunes that were more reliable than anything available in the rivers. While miners searched uncertain landscapes, store owners earned money through regular transactions. While prospectors hoped for discoveries, suppliers responded to predictable needs. It was not as glamorous as uncovering a gold nugget, but it often produced better financial results. Yet most newcomers continued focusing on mining. The stories that attracted people to California usually featured dramatic discoveries. Newspapers preferred tales of sudden success over accounts of steady business operations. Readers imagined themselves uncovering treasure, not managing inventories. Human nature pulled attention toward extraordinary outcomes. As a result, many people chased the most visible opportunity rather than the most practical one. Over time, mining itself became more difficult. The easiest gold was gradually removed. Reaching deeper deposits required additional resources. Larger operations began replacing individual prospectors. Equipment became more sophisticated. Costs increased. The image of a lone miner arriving with simple tools and quickly becoming wealthy became less realistic. For many participants, the experience was disappointing. Some returned home with less money than they had when they arrived. Others spent years chasing opportunities that never materialized. Many discovered that determination alone could not guarantee success. Hard work remained important, but circumstances and timing mattered as well. Still, the gold rush was not a failure. California grew rapidly. New towns emerged, trade expanded, infrastructure developed, businesses formed. People from different backgrounds interacted in ways that would have been difficult to imagine only a few years earlier. The search for gold influenced far more than individual fortunes. It helped shape the future of an entire region. But perhaps the most interesting lesson comes from the choices people made. When opportunity appeared, most individuals focused on the obvious prize. They looked directly at the gold. That reaction was understandable. Gold was exciting. Gold captured attention. Gold inspired dreams. Yet some people stepped back and examined the situation differently. Instead of asking where the gold was, they asked what the miners needed. That simple shift in perspective changed everything. The California gold rush was not merely a story about precious metal hidden beneath the earth. It was a story about incentives, competition, and human behavior. It showed how large groups of people respond when wealth appears within reach. It revealed that the most popular opportunity is not always the most profitable one. And it demonstrated that lasting success often comes from solving problems rather than chasing headlines. More than a century later, the gold rush continues to fascinate people because its lessons remain relevant. New opportunities still attract crowds. New industries still generate excitement. New fortunes are still created. Yet the same question remains. Will you follow the crowd toward the obvious prize, or will you look for the needs created by the crowd itself? History suggests that the answer can make all the difference.